Welcome. This is David Bowles, Human Meme. Today's topic: insulted by salt. You don't have to be a health nut to be insulted by the utter and absolute vulgarity of salt. Salt, yes, sodium, our old childhood pal, salt. Salt of our baseball peanuts, salt of our after-school snack chips, salt of the earth, and our salt tabs we used to take after football practice. Ahoy, salt! Salt of our hidden adulthood, and salt of the sodium margarita rim job, salt of our loins, salt of our shakerless life. Salt, also known as sodium, is the real silent killer. Not high blood pressure, not a deceitful fart in a crowded room. No, salt. Salt is everywhere and inescapable. And my human meme friend, salt, is killing you, and salt is killing me, and salt is killing everyone around us. Did you know the human body only needs 200 milligrams of salt a day to survive? And we need some salt. Our bodies are water, and salt helps move the electricity around. We're a great big battery. I'm not a doctor, don't take my word for that. But do take my word for this, that the average 2,000 calorie a day diet allows for, get this, 2,500 milligrams of salt each day. 2,500 milligrams of salt, when we only really need in order to live is 200 milligrams a day. And unfortunately, many people, many Americans, tend to take in about 4,000 milligrams of salt each day. And that is a lot of saltiness, and we're not talking saltines. And if you happen to have high blood pressure, you should be on a low-salt diet. And believe it or not, a low-sodium diet ends at around 1,500 milligrams of salt a day. We only need 200 milligrams of salt a day, but we increase that to 1,500 milligrams of salt a day to help our hearts, I guess. And I can tell you right now, if you are eating fast food, processed food, canned food, prepared meals you don't make yourself, you are never going to be able to limit your salt intake to 1,500 milligrams a day. No way. Never going to happen. It cannot happen because the system is set against you. And why is that? Are fruit, vegetables naturally salty? No, not really. So where is all this insulting sodium coming from anyway? Well, here's the truth of that reality. It's all about money, always. Salt is being added to your diet by big mega companies. Chemists employed by companies. These companies think you need to have a lot of salt added to their food in order for you to buy it and taste it. And that's the old chide against people who smoke cigarettes. They salt their food before they even start eating because they know they won't be able to taste their food without high amounts of salt to help enhance the taste of their taste buds that they've killed with smoke and nicotine. And you're not allowed by these big food companies to salt your own food by default. No, your salt is prepared for you in advance of mainstream preparation. And that food is heavily salted, and you don't have to believe me. Just read any nutrition label and you're going to find out the hard way. And my human meme friend, there is no way out from the insulting avalanche of salt we are taking in every day. There's no way around it. The salt is just there, embedded and emboldened by the convenience of prepackaging. For me, I prefer to eat between 1,200 and 1,500 calories a day. I'm active. I exercise 6 days a week. And I do my best to try to limit my sodium intake to fewer than 1,500 milligrams a day. And it is super hard to make that happen. For example, there's a company you might have seen on television. They advertise a lot. They offer fresh fruit and vegetable bowls that are frozen and delivered to you every week. And their veggie bowls look good. But when you begin to look at the nutrition panel for those healthy veggie bowls, you are shocked to learn that one serving of their healthy bowl of vegetables ranges between 600 milligrams of salt to 900 milligrams of salt. 900 milligrams of sodium per serving for a veggie bowl that is supposed to be healthy for you. And yes, they add seasoning, they salt it, there's kind of a sauce that they add, so it's not just veggies, it's veggies plus. So at 900 milligrams of sodium per serving, you are losing almost half of your daily sodium intake in the guise of a single healthy vegetable bowl. Well, that discovery was a brutal and dismaying discovery for me. Because the calories for those healthy veggie bowls are around 280 calories, which is fantastic. But the salt is 900 milligrams. Once I figured that out, the assault of salt, I canceled my veggie bowl subscription after the first delivery. And yes, I get it. If you don't want no salt, you want to cut up your own vegetables or cook them yourself, okay, I will, point taken. But my human being friend, there's even a sharper salty barb. I used to be obsessed, weight loss-wise, with calories, counting calories, then counting sugar/carbs, then saturated fat and the CICO philosophy, CICO, calories in, calories out, OMAD, 1 meal a day, 1,200 calorie limit, 1,500 calorie limit per day, and on down the philosophical chain. And I did all that, faithfully counting, until, for some reason, probably a self-flagellating curiosity, I started to become aware, and shall we say obsessed, with the amount of salt in these allegedly healthy dietary choices. Salt in all the things we eat. Black salt, Himalayan pink salt, sea salt, iodized salt, all salt. No sodium discrimination here. And I realized that if something is truly low sodium, and by truly low sodium, I mean ideally around 100 milligrams of sodium per serving, or more realistically, at least below 300 milligrams of sodium per serving. Everything else that may be dangerous on that nutrition label takes care of itself if the sodium is low for some reason. So low salt means low calorie, means low carbs, means low sugar, means low saturated fat. And so for years and years, I have been calculating the wrong diet metric. I had accepted the wrong mission. All along, what I needed was not as much salt. Salt is calling from inside the house. So yes, the secret to good health and losing weight and staying in shape is really about getting in control of your sodium intake, not just your caloric intake. In the first few days after I started to hyper-focus on my diet as 1,500 milligrams of salt a day or less, I lost 4 pounds, and my blood pressure dropped 10 points on each side. And since there's no such thing as a coincidence, and I've always said blood pressure is a behavioral disease, and by God it is, so get your salt intake under control and your entire body will start to behave, and your well-being will improve. This salt assault was an amazing discovery. And I share this insight with you, not even lightly salty, because actually living on 1,500 milligrams of salt a day is no easy task. It takes a lot of work and dedication and saying no thank you to many pleasing and delicious things. But the good part about it all is this. There are some convenient and easy-to-use foods and snacks, pre-prepared, that are no sodium. You just have to know when and where to look. But beware of low-sodium foods. Some soups and vegetables and condiments brag about being low sodium, less sodium. But that doesn't mean much in the schema of life at 1,500 milligrams of salt per day. Because lower is conditional to the advertising and relative to the truth. Let's say a regular soup, a health soup, is 1,500 milligrams of sodium per serving, while the low-sodium version of the same soup triggers in at, get this, 500 milligrams of salt. Okay, so a third of 1,500 milligrams of salt is better than 1,500 milligrams of salt, but 500 milligrams of salt is still way too much for one single serving of a soup. 500 milligrams of salt in comparison to 1,500 might be lower sodium or less sodium, but it is not no salt or even low sodium. Here's another example. How about this? Regular soy sauce clocks in at 1,200 milligrams of salt per tablespoon, while the light soy sauce of the same brand, with lower sodium, still clocks you at 500 milligrams of salt per tablespoon. Sure, an improvement, but is it an improvement being hit in the head with a bowling ball instead of a sledgehammer? Well, the pain in your head, in my example, is not relative, and the infliction, the insult of the pain is still there. A difference without a distinction, but many distractions. Bash away, my ally insult, the end is nigh anyway. And so, my human meme friend, your mission, if you should so choose to accept it, is to read the labels of your prepackaged food and limit yourself to 1,500 milligrams of salt per day for, let's say, a week. Try it. See if it works for you, and then test your weight and your feelings at the end of that run. But, as always, if you or your lower sodium team catch or kill you, I will disavow any knowledge of this conversation. This insult will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.